what are you seeing from James right now? 3 of 13 from the field tonight. Just what are you seeing from him, and kind of what can you guys do to help him get going?
You think of just little things, spacing, trying to get him easier looks. Honestly, just him just continue to be in attack mode, right? He's James Harden. We're not sitting here worried. He's going to figure this out, and we got to do a better job around him as well, whether it's spacing or put him in different positions, and we'll have that conversation. We've been having that conversation, and, at the end of the day, we're going to figure it out. I mean, even like last possession where he lost the ball, I could have stayed in the corner with Thompson, right? You know what I mean? So just little things like that, and just getting on the same page. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
You guys found an offensive flow, definitely had the ball moving a little bit more. Is there anything that you guys discovered in that quarter that you can build on going forward here?
Yes.
All right, man, let's talk, man. So we got, a lot of talk about Harden. To have the Detroit Pistons broke James Harden. Duncan Robinson screaming in his face. Sar Thompson in his face. You got to remember, too, didn't he give Sar Thompson like a 40 or 50 ball this season? I think he gave him a 50 ball after they saying that he can lock up James Harden, and, the turnovers, they exploiting him on defense. Duran getting in his face, Cade just hezzy banging on his nigga and shit. But he's 36 years old. You know what I'm saying? Giving up Garland. He was never healthy. James has always been a durable player. I'm a James Harden fan. Got a couple of his shoes. I think the whole D-Wade debate, ain't no debate, man. D-Wade, man. D-Wade was just, he was a performer. Harden might have better regular season numbers and shit. D-Wade was a better hooper, playoff performer, playoff closer, had one of the craziest finals appearances ever. He was the best player in the world at that point. I never mince words when I say that. No, LeBron. Nah, he was the best player in the world when Miami won that first title with him and Shaq. Shaq was a decoy. This motherfucker, even though he's getting to the free throw line a lot, SGA still worse than him. And that's serious. But, man, that dude was unreal. But there's no disrespect. I think Harden got some of the best shoe line. I think, James Harden is a cool dude. I never had a problem with James Harden, man. I support him. I wouldn't mind seeing Harden get a championship, but he's been having playoff up and down for a minute. The Thunder, they cheated the Thunder versus the Miami Heat, but he didn't have a good playoff performance in that series coming off the bench. It's just, him when San Antonio arrested Kawhi Leonard for Game 6 and they got put out, even when they was, you could just go on and on again. Realistically, man, in Philly, he had a really strong game in Boston, and then he faltered again. And the Pistons is just, that's the wrong team to really want to see in the playoffs. And you got playoff woes. You got playoff skeletons, and he getting older. So the fatigue is coming in. He 36 years old. So they don't respect him. They don't respect him. They pushing him. They bumping him. He don't get the respect like a LeBron still get. Still getting even at his age, or the respect that you respect KD. He ain't getting that respect. They don't respect James Harden out there. He a cone. They see him as a regular civilian. Like if they pull Big Sean off the court side and put this nigga, that's how they treat him. They have no respect for James Harden. They treat him as an individual. Now, like I said before, at some point he might be like, fuck it. And you never want to poke the bear because Harden may just figure something out and unlock it. But there's been talks about him going to strip clubs during the playoff before. I remember the one in San Antonio was on social media when they arrested Kawhi Leonard Game 6, and San Antonio still won, even though they was conceding to go back home to San Antonio, and they still won. He had a bad series. The thing about it was he was at the fucking liquor store buying liquor after the fucking game. That's what they showed him. So, and going to the strip club. So maybe he don't feel the need to win a championship. Maybe he don't want it enough. Because, you can't really, challenge his work ethic because he's been one of the more durable players throughout the league. Usage rates high. But at 36, I'm not saying that's an indictment on his work ethic, him getting taken. Nigga, 36 years old. And it got to be troubling. And it's hard for you to be like, for what's beneficial to the Cavs is to go with Schroeder or Donovan Mitchell as the primary ball handler. and put James off the ball, because guess what? James is a liability defensively. So can we get James cutting and moving? It's just a lot, man. It's a lot. But what Cleveland fans can say, at least he healthy. Garland, every time they needed him, he wasn't helped. But I will say Garland used to put belt the ass to Detroit. Even when it was him and Colin Sexton, man, them motherfuckers was a terror. They was a terror like terrorists. But to be honest, the Pistons is the wrong team to see. They physical. They don't mind fouling. And they play a physical brand of basketball. And you know what's the benefit for the Pistons? Everybody always look at the glass kind of half empty about them not being able to shoot. But you know what's the benefit about them not being able to shoot? They understand that and they attacking the rim. So when you going downhill, that's even more physicality. When you putting your head down, your shoulder down, and you get into the rim, and that's even more. So they defensively, physical, offensively, they're not bailing you out with a bunch of unnecessary threes. They setting picks for Duncan Robinson. They physical. They picking you. They screening you up and down the floor. They getting downhill. Sar Thompson throwing his body around. Tobias throwing his body around. Cade posting you up, beating you in the post. You know what I'm saying? Duran down there banging, Stu down there. Everybody's a banger. Duncan even banging people down there. So it's like you getting beat up 94 feet to 94 feet. You getting beat up on a fast break. You getting beat up in half court. You getting beat up defensively. You getting beat up. So for a 36-year-old, that's a lot. That's a lot to take on. And you got they just beating your ass all day. They just a physical football team, a basketball team, damn near football team. And when you physically just getting beat up in this April, or it's May now, into June, that just wear and tear, because they practice like that. It's like in football. You know, they be talking about all the high injuries and soft tissue injuries that go on in football. Why is that happening now? It's a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons why is they can control. They don't do two padded practices no more. So when you practice how you play, when the practice is harder than the games, right? Just like in boxing, when the training is harder than the fight, you train for war. So your body can take the physical abuse, because you got 15 dogs on the floor that y'all just competing and bang. So the Pistons are trained. They like a Humvee. They train for the terrain. A lot of these other teams train like Ferraris, Corvettes, or Porsches, and yeah. But as soon as the terrain get tough and the world get bumpy, yeah, you might have was beating the Humvee. Nah, you know, the Corvette got the Humvee and ran over you, and that's the Pistons, bro. So that's the Pistons, man. But hey, man, you know, they just a bad team to try to get your playoff rhythm with. So hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, the whole nine. They say find me everywhere in the description. Find me everywhere there. Peace.